Hello, well, back tuning into Storm Watch. I've had a very warm afternoon across the country this afternoon. Temperatures widely been into the mid 20s Celsius, so it's been really warm. The heat is going to continue to build over the next couple of days. So tomorrow we'll go hotter, and then Tuesday we'll have the peak of bits, and it could well get up to around 32 degrees in the south. That's around 90 Fahrenheit. So it's going to be really hot down in the south. And this inevitably going to spark off some thundery weather. Now, the thundery area is a little bit unusual, this one. The thundery area looks like it's going to be in the north and west. So where the highest temperatures are, not necessarily going to be where the greatest risk of thunder is going to be late Tuesday and into Wednesday. I think it mainly is for the north and western part of the country that we're going to have a risk of thunderstorms, particularly overnight Tuesday and then into Wednesday. I'll show you the detail on all of it in a second though. Before I get on with that, just say about the charity fundraiser. So we're raising money throughout July for the Warwickshire and Northamptonshire Air Ambulance, and a big thanks to everybody that's donated so far. We've had 42 really kind donations, and that leaves us at the moment at £681.17. And we're trying to get £750. That's our next target. So if you can donate some more money to us and to the air ambulance, it will be very greatly appreciated. The air ambulance is completely reliant on charity donations. They do not receive any funding from the government or from the taxpayer either, or from the National Health Service. They are completely reliant on charitable donations. So every little helps. If you can donate as much or as little as you want, as you can afford, then it is a big help. It costs £1,700 for the Warwickshire and Northamptonshire Air Ambulance to do one call out, can you believe? And everything from the helicopter itself all the way down to the smallest plasters has to be paid for via charitable donations. So a big thank you to all of you that have donated so far. If you haven't donated yet, please send through your donations for our charity appeal. We're going to be running this throughout July, so you've still got plenty of time to donate. It means a great deal to myself and my family, and I just say that everything out of this, the videos, written posts, all of it is kept completely free of charge. We earn our revenue via the ads. That's where we're going to be staying. So I just ask that if you like what we do, if you enjoy what we do, that you make this little bit of a donation to the air ambulance. And thanks very much for doing that. Right, let's start off with the GFS then for Tuesday. So this is when the heatwave is going to be peaking. This is Tuesday 19th, a couple of days away. That's the caveat, of course, with this. It's still quite a long way off in terms of pinning down the detail of thunderstorms anyway, because thunderstorms are always very difficult to forecast in this country. So this is how the setup is for the end of Tuesday afternoon. We've got an area of high pressure across Central Europe, particularly centres over Germany. We've got low pressure out to the west of the UK. And in between, we're sucking up this very hot southerly flow. And as that heat runs over Spain and over Bay of Biscay and into France, it picks up moisture over Bay of Biscay, and then that pulls northwards in the form of instability into the UK. So it's a classic Spanish plume type situation, if you like. Now, these are the upper air temperatures for Tuesday afternoon. So you see it's a very warm day across the whole country. The 10 Celsius isotherm is there across the north of Scotland. 15 Celsius isotherm, which is really hot air, that's across the whole of England and Wales. And the 20 Celsius isotherm getting perilously close to the south coast. 20 Celsius isotherm is very hot air. When you get 20 Celsius isotherm appearing, you're going to be going above 90 Fahrenheit, most definitely. And that is knocking on the door of the south coast at 6 o'clock in the evening. So I suspect much of England and Wales will be between around 30 and 32, 33 degrees possibly on Tuesday afternoon. Really will be a very hot afternoon indeed. Now, as well as that, there's a lot of cape and lifted going on Tuesday afternoon. So you'll probably look at that and think that's going to be thundery, going to be a lot of thunderstorms around, because it does look very vibrant in terms of the cape and lifted. But actually, the storms are quite restricted on Tuesday afternoon. We've just got some storms being signalled there by the GFS across parts of Wales. I would think particularly the Welsh Mountains, going up in towards northwest England, possibly Northern Ireland, southwest Scotland as well. But for the levels of Cape, which are really quite impressive, there's not a great deal going on. And that's just an indication that this area is probably going to be quite dry, at least initially, moving up off the continent. So although we've got Cape, it's not able to form those big thunder clouds at that stage. However, as we go through into the evening of Tuesday, so this is midnight Wednesday, we do find things are beginning to spark off. We've got showers breaking out across the Midlands and Wales. Definite thunderstorms, I would have thought, across parts of Scotland down to northwest England as well. And then that just gets going more through the early hours of Wednesday. So this is 6 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, when we see thunderstorms being seen there across many parts of Wales now, also stretching into the north and west Midlands, going up towards northern England and heading into southern parts of Scotland as well. Notice the East Midlands, East Anglia, South East England, it's largely dry on Tuesday night in those areas. It will be a very hot and steamy night down in the southeast. We have got Cape on Wednesday morning, so this is 6 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, and we see we've got high levels of Cape there. So this precipitation that we've got going on is likely to be thundery. It's likely to contain lightning and thunder. Now, low pressure is going to move northwards through the course of Wednesday. So this is midday Wednesday. We've got an area of low pressure, thundery low, pushing north across northern England. That heads up in towards Scotland on Wednesday afternoon. And it takes heavy rain, heavy thunderstorms northwards with it. So this is midday on Wednesday when the model is signalling that we've got thunderstorms through northern England heading up in towards Scotland. Again, notice the east and southeast largely missing out on these thunderstorms, and then those storms carry on pushing northwards into Scotland during the course of Wednesday afternoon before eventually moving away in towards the north of Scotland by the time we get through to midnight on Thursday. So the thunder never gets into the southeast. East Anglia, southeast England, the Midlands, completely missing out on the thunderstorms with this one, despite having the highest of the temperatures. So by midnight on Thursday, we are bringing in cooler, fresher air from the west. So there is a cold front moving across the country. We'll be bringing those thunderstorms to northern England and Scotland on Wednesday. But for England and Wales, it looks like it's just going to be a very weak cold front. Probably a band of cloud will come across, maybe a shower with it, but it'll just be one of those situations where it's very hot and sunny, then it turns cloudy, and then behind the cloud brightens up, but you start to feel a cooler, fresher wind coming through, and probably no thunder down in the southeast. With the caveat, of course, that this is all quite some way off and it is subject to change, because when you're dealing with thunderstorms, it's very hard to pin them down in this country. These have the temperature for Tuesday, so it is going to be a really hot day for England and Wales. This is suggesting 27, 28, 29 degrees. I think you can easily increase that to 30 to 32, so that's 86 to 90 Fahrenheit across parts of England and Wales. And then on Wednesday, when it's still hot in the southeast, turning cooler and fresher out to the north and west. And by Thursday, that cooler, fresher air has pushed across the whole country. It's still pretty warm in the southeast, even then, up to 25 degrees for East Anglia. So it does cool down through the middle part of the week in the south and the east. It just doesn't do it by a thundery breakdown. It just does it with a very weak cold front moving across and not producing much in the way of thunder. However, it does look as though Scotland, Northern Ireland, Northern England, Wales will be at risk of thunderstorms. That's the GFS. That's quite a low resolution model. Just have a look at the high-res WRF model. This isn't into the time frame of the Euro 4, by the way, yet, so we won't be using that at the moment. So this is for 8 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday. We'll see it's almost universally dry across the country. Let's run through and see what the WRF does. So through the course of Tuesday afternoon, it develops thunderstorms across parts of northern England and also down towards North Wales. So that's really in line with what the GFS was showing a few minutes ago. And then things really kick off across Ireland on Tuesday evening. This is 8 o'clock in the evening when we see violent thunderstorms probably breaking out across much of Ireland. Again, scattered thunderstorms through Scotland, northern England. Otherwise, not much happening. And we carry on running through into the night of Tuesday into Wednesday. And things take a long time to get going. This is 3 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. Still not much happening really away from southwestern Scotland. But then things do develop on Wednesday morning. So this is as far as we go. This is 72 hours away with the WRF model, 8 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, where you see there's a lot of heavy rain then through the Irish Sea towards parts of Wales, northwest England, and going up in towards southwest Scotland too. Notice for much of eastern England, central, southern, southeast England, mostly dry. This is all thunderstorms here out in the west, and as we've seen from the GFS, these are likely to develop further through the morning of Wednesday, pushing northwards, affecting much of northern England, Scotland, but not bringing thunder to the southeast. So that's how it's looking at the moment. It looks like we're certainly going to be having a big push up in the temperatures, and it is going to turn really hard across much of England and Wales, particularly on Tuesday. The heat in the east will last into Wednesday as well. It looks as though the thunder risk is going to be mainly for the north and the west, very little down in the south and the east. By the time you get through to Thursday, we'll all be feeling cooler and fresher. It just happens that the thunderstorms are in the north, and a cold front will be very weak and not doing much in terms of thunder as it moves across England and Wales late on Wednesday. That's how it's looking at the moment, just with the caveat on all of this that it's a long way away in terms of predicting thunder in this country. It's the hardest element to forecast, even harder than forecasting snow. At least I find it even harder than forecasting snow. And snow is pretty difficult to forecast, so it's a little way off. So if you live in the southeast and you're a bit disappointed about this one, there is time for a change. Right, that's how it's looking. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to donate to the Air Ambulance if you haven't yet done so. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.